Cause I got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice.
All right, so we'll start with my questions.
Okay.
So my first one is, what would you say to the person who downplays or disrespects an involved partner's stance, RVP or not, because they're not in the field or in the leadership position?
Repeat the question for me.
What would you say to the person who downplays or disrespects an involved partner's stance, RVP or not, because they aren't in the field or in the leadership position?
What do you mean by that exactly?
Like we have some, it doesn't happen too
people
much.
who don't value the partner?
Yeah, and maybe are quick with them, disrespectful with them, if that partner is trying to lead them or make them better, but they shun them or brush them off.
So they respect the coach, they
Yes.
just don't value the partner.
Right.
Did the partner start with the coach at
Yes.
the same time?
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, who am I talking to? The partner or the
You're talking to the
disrespectful
disrespectful agent.
person? Okay. First of all, I always say what you put out, you have to get back.
Yeah.
So, one thing that my grandmother taught me is you treat the CEO and the trash man the same, because you never know when those roles may reverse. That's just how life is.
Right. Or if they were that way in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it just pays to be kind. It pays to put that energy out, because you have to get that energy back. And so I tell them, if you're going to be disrespectful to your coach or this person or that person, anybody really, then when you're building your business, you're going to have to deal with that same disrespect.
Yes.
It's the law of seed sowing. Whatever you put out, you have to get back. That's in the Bible. That's not anything that we've made up. So I just think that it's important that people understand the power of kindness. And that I know that some people have a hard time being coached by partners that come in on the back end.
Right.
But partners that start together, you should just see them as one. Basically, that's how we have our team view us, that we're just one coach, basically.
Right.
You call us both coach or whatever you want to call us, it's fine. But, we have the same respect, and then so I don't let anybody disrespect him and vice versa.
Right.
And so I think that the partners should get together and make sure that they explain to the people that that's how it's going to go. And then anybody that have an issue with respect, they'll have to deal with that in their own base shop.
Right. For sure. Great answer. All right. What do you say to the female leader who is too soft or too nice to lead?
I don't know about too soft or too nice to lead. I think that every female leader needs to find their strength. So if they are soft and nice, then they find that in their strength. Some leaders are never nice.
Right.
So it may be harder for that team to like that leader or something like that. I think if they're soft and nice, then they're probably likable, because they don't step on too many toes and stuff like that.
Right.
So they use that as their strength to get people to like them and to get people to follow them in that aspect. But then I don't have a problem with people being soft and nice, but I do think that it's important for them to tell the truth.
Right. Be direct.
That's exactly right. So I think, female leaders need to be bold enough to tell each other the truth, tell us what we need to know so that we can grow in all areas.
Yes.
The leader and the person that's being led into becoming a leader.
Good. Yeah.
So I don't know if it's if they're too nice to lead, but I do know that they find their strength inside of whatever they have.
Yeah. Whatever their
niche is.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, because all leaders don't have the same personalities.
For sure.
They have a lot of the same leadership qualities, but their personalities aren't all the same.
Right. Okay. What's your advice on women leading men? Some of our girls tend to have, it's easy for them to lead a girl, but then a man comes into their business and there's that
I think image
dynamic.
has a lot to do with that. Anytime my girls are going to meet with a man, I tell them to pull their hair back in a ponytail or a bun, because image and body language has a lot to do with how a man respects you in business.
Right.
So when we wear our hair hanging, we tend to do this and a little bit of that. Well,
She's flipping her hair, girls.
Right. And body language, that gives off flirting or, and something like that. Well, for us, it's not flirting. Right. It's just what we do with our hair.
But they might take it that way.
Exactly. And perception is reality. So to avoid that perception, I have them pull their hair back into a ponytail or a bun so that they don't do stuff like that.
Right.
I make sure that whenever they're meeting with, the goal is whenever they're meeting with anybody, but especially men and couples.
Okay. If you could speak on emotions in the business, kind of like you did yesterday, but I missed that on my recording.
I think a lot of women who have a lot of potential don't make it to top executive positions because they're too emotional. And so when it comes to making a decision, a business decision, a decision that will leave a huge impact on the growth of their business and their team size and stuff like that, they make emotional decisions, whereas men make logical decisions. Does this make sense? Is this going to make us money? Women make decisions based on how they feel. Feelings are immature. So they don't get a vote. They don't get to make a decision. However, when women are leading a team, they tend to make emotional decisions. Well, I feel this way about this person, so I'm not going to do this. Well, that's not a business decision. You don't have to like the people that you work with all the time. Now, a lot of times we end up liking the people that we work with. That's a blessing. Our teams becomes family and stuff like that. But you can't not make money because of some type of way that you feel. You can't not show up because you don't feel like showing up. Or, so I think women need to snap out of their emotions and start building their business like men. Does this make logical sense? Is this gonna make me money? If I stay on the sofa, am I gonna make money, or do I need to get my ass up? And so I think that when it comes to decision making, we need to be, as women, we need to make sure that it's not an emotional decision. I always tell my leaders, before you make a huge decision in business, wait 24 hours, because 24 hours you'll probably have changed your mind. So a lot of people say, well, yeah, yesterday I wanted to quit, but I waited 24 hours, I calmed down, and I realized I just had a bad day. And I'm gonna have a bad day at my job if I quit, so I might as well just, So 24 hours later, you tend to feel differently about the person, the circumstance, the situation.
Okay, that's good. All right, these next questions are from Dion, who is Cornell's partner.
Okay.
And she says, how do you get teammates that were once engaged and fired up again if they are showing up but not productive?
They're showing up but they're not fired up.
Right, or productive. They're not doing anything.
But they are showing up. Here's what I've learned since being in the business as long as I've been. You never know when it's going to click for them.
Yes.
You just never know.
That was us.
Yeah, you just want them to keep showing up. If they're showing up, there's still hope for them, basically. One of our vice presidents that we promoted this year, she was our 7th vice president. She's the one that's actually, last night she crossed 94 grand. So she's $6,000 away from the watch. I mean, the ring, the $100,000 ring. She, just like 2.5 years ago, was like off and on, and she had stopped showing up for a while, and I just shot her a text message like, hey, haven't seen you in a while, you just ran across my mind. Whenever somebody runs across my mind, I don't think it's by accident, so I shoot them a text and let them know. And she was the one who said, don't call me after 9. She just wasn't productive, wasn't engaged, but she started coming back around, and then we got her to a big event. And then she started taking it seriously. And this was somebody who we didn't have on our radar to go RVP in this set of 12 months. She was great. She had a great image. She was very professional. We knew she had business and entrepreneurship qualities. But we definitely didn't think that she would be one of our RVPs right now. But it just clicked for her. And when it clicked, she started passing up people that had been here, and went RVP and built a core group, a real good core group, and now I was about to go over the ring. So my advice to them would be to, when they show up, just, hey, speak to them, man, I'm so glad, it's so good to see you, I'm glad you made it. That's what I do, because I don't never know when it's gonna click for you. And I always tell them, you probably don't think you need the environment, but the environment needs you. We like to see you here. We like what you bring. You bring a new smile to the environment, and your husband, he's funny. He brings comedy to the environment. So we just may tell them what they bring, because a lot of times, because they're not being productive, they think they don't bring value. So their shame will allow them not to show up. Their guilt for not producing anything allows them not to show up. So yeah, so you just tell them, hey, keep showing up. That's something that I do a lot. I reach out to those people. Not too much time. Don't spend too much time on it, but I do reach out, and that takes seconds to shoot a text message or something like that.
Great answer. All right, so she asks, did your big base shop happen before or after your warm market?
After.
Yeah.
My warm market was done within the first week. So a lot of what we had to do was prospecting and social media prospecting, out and about prospecting. Schools, we went into schools to talk to the principals, to get in front of the teachers. Can we treat your teachers to lunch? Coaches, and just basically getting in front of groups and going to my pastor, having him put me in front of my church, and so that's where a lot of our teammates come from. In our business, we don't have, I don't have any family members. Antoine has his brother. So the warm market was done. A lot of that came after the warm market.
How did you get things going when you felt like you had nothing going on?
I said that I was if I was to get a job, it would take me 2 weeks to get paid. So I was gonna work my business for 2 weeks straight with the same commitment that I would work a job, and then if I didn't get paid, I would go and get a job. Because a lot of people say, well, I need to get a job because a job is consistent, it pays me and stuff like that. Well, the reality is you work it consistently. And so that's why it pays you. If you don't work it consistently, it won't pay you consistently. It's the same thing for this business. If you don't work it consistently, it won't pay you consistently. So I reminded myself that, if you go get a job, Chauvon, it's going to take you 2 weeks to get paid. But you're going to work for 14 days. So work for 14 days in this business. And if you don't get paid, then you go get a job. But I have never made the decision to work consistently for 14 days and not get paid. That's ultimately impossible to do. So it's just recommitting yourself and thinking like, how would you work if you had a job? You would be there every day for 8 to 10 hours. So you have to give your business the same commitment.
Love it. All right. Next set of questions is from Charlene, who is Rossi's partner, my sister-in-law.
Okay.
She asks, before getting an office manager, how did you and Antoine manage your back office for you and your team to keep good business and a good QBI?
We did it ourselves.
Yes, best answer.
That's it. We did it ourselves because we just said we had time. Nobody was going to value it like we valued it, and we just, that's it. There's nothing else to that. We did it ourselves.
While building your big base, how did you and Antoine balance jobs, your business, and your family?
We didn't have big base shops when we had jobs. And I don't know too many people that have big base shops and jobs, because a big base shop take 100% commitment. So we didn't. But I will say this about the word balance. I don't know why it exists, because it's not a real word to me. In business, balance doesn't exist. So if a woman eliminates the search for balance, she will eliminate frustration. I think a lot of women get frustrated because they're trying to find balance. I'm trying to balance this and balance that. There is no balance. Everything is going to be out of whack while we build this business. The laundry is not going to get done. We're going to be stepping over dirty clothes. We're going to be eating the eating out instead of cooking. It's just a lot of things that take place in the building phase. But all of that is for the purpose of, okay, yeah, I stepped over my laundry while I was building my business, but now I have a housekeeper. And yeah, I ate out a lot. You know, I wasn't cooking as much, but now I have a chef. You know, it's all for the purpose of building something so you can get back to the things that are important to you.
Right.
But there is no balance, though.
Good. All right. Tiana asks, is there one thing that you feel made your business make a shift?
Is there one thing that I feel made my business make a shift? A shift from what?
I guess for the better, if I'm assuming.
Yeah. You know, I think when, I don't know if I noticed a significant shift except for when we decided to go RVP. But when I started teaching my team about the law of attraction, and when I started talking a lot about seed sowing, and you get out what you put in, our team started straightening up because nobody wants to get that type of stuff back.
Yeah.
So then it started slowing down the type of stuff that was being put out. I think the law of attraction, seed sowing, and then resilience, just getting my team to bounce back quicker from life's distractions and stuff like that. Those are things that help shift mindsets for sure, which ultimately shifts your business in the gear. Yeah.
Okay. Erica says, what is the best advice you can give on prospecting, and what's one key thing you say to them to get them fired up about the business?
The best advice I could give on prospecting is to get 10 a day, every day, with weekends off. That's $200 a month. And I always say with 200 prospects, you can get 100 to answer. You can set about 60 to 70. You can close about 30 to 40 or 20 to 30 on the low end. If you close 20 to 30 people a month, then you're building something. Yes. You're working in the right direction.
Sure.
And what I normally say is, I normally tell the foundation of what I say is, oh my God, you have a great personality. I need to bring you in for an interview. I say that's my foundation, and I think everybody needs a prospecting foundation. Now, to get to that is small talk, and the small talk is depending on who you are. If you work here, I might say, hey, how long have you been working here? Oh, a couple of years. Oh, okay, you must really like it here. Oh, girl, no, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody that don't really like it there. So I can say, oh, okay, oh, that's funny. I can tell you don't like it here at all. They might start laughing. You know what? You have a really good personality. I need to bring you in for an interview. Or we might be out at a store and this is a great sale, and somebody might say, yeah, it is, and walk away. Well, I'm not looking for that person. Yeah. I'm looking for the talker. So I'm looking for the person to say, yes, this is a great sale, girl. I was excited to hear about this sale. Me too. I love sales. Me too. Oh my God, you have a great personality. I need to bring you in for an interview. So that's my foundation.
That's such an easy line too.
Yes, because if they have a great personality, it's sincere. Yeah. You know, it's not anything that you have to fake. And I don't have to fake it because I'm not going to tell it to you if you don't have one, because I don't want you. I want the one with the great personality. So I think everybody needs to get their prospecting foundation and then small talk their way to that.
Okay. Her second question is, what was the life-changing moment that made you go into beast mode?
It was a chain of events. One was when my daughter was born. She was born a preemie because I had worked so hard as a waitress. I was working double shifts while I was pregnant with her. And to see her come into the world fighting, I made a promise to her that I was going to fight for her. Right. That she wouldn't have to fight anymore. So that was one thing that that just got me into a whole different type of animal. Like I made a promise to her and I have to keep it. And then to see my son went in the hospital right after we went RVP for 2 months, and him having to get surgeries at 2, and then him coming out the hospital just with a chip on his shoulder about life. Like, you know what? I'm just as tough as I want to be. You know, at that point I said, you know what? I need to build something that pays me even when I'm not there. So those are two things that really put me into beast mode. But then things along the way is when people didn't believe in me. when they said, this little girl, she's not going to be much of nothing, or she's just here for this, or she's just here for that, or, doubt puts me in the right type of mind, because my spirit to prove you wrong is always at an all-time high.
That's how he is.
Yeah.
He hates that. Let's see. Kira says, what are some of the different approaches you take when setting a KT with someone that keeps making excuses why they can't sit with you, or will set a KT and then cancel repeatedly?
I move on.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's the reason why. Yeah, put them on the follow-up list for somebody else to call. But I'm not going to keep calling you if you don't, if you're not interested. Now, I don't, because the line was too long. Can y'all cut the heat down, please? Just a little. Thank you.
It's getting a little warm.
Yeah, I don't. I move on.
Okay. Nina says, when promoting a single mom to RVP, what are 3 key things you would recommend to do or not do as a single mother to be successful?
That's funny, because my last RVP was a single mom, number 9. She, one thing that you shouldn't do is a new RVP is date. She was dating on her RVP run, and I was like, how much do you like him? Let's just be realistic about this. Like, are you really, really into him? Like, he may be the one, or are you just dating to pass time? Yeah. And and after a long conversation of us exercising what she really wants, and what he really brings, we figured out that he is not the one. So we don't have time for you to be dating right now, because we need you to build a business. Everybody is going to come to you right now and want to date you because you're a vice president. You're just getting promoted. Your cash is going through the roof. Your stock is rising. So everybody is coming to you right now. So I think the first thing is they need to get focused on building something that has money in their bank account, and they bring something to the table. A single woman, you bring a different type of value to the table when you come to the table with a business. A lot of women aren't bringing businesses to the table. They're bringing bills or low-paying jobs. They need help with paying for things. But if you come to the table with a business, you already have your money intact. You already have money saved. You don't need him for anything. Then you can pick out of want. You don't have to pick out of need. So that's one of the things. Another thing that I tell my single women, I just tell all of my women in their first year RVP, is to get on birth control. Let's stay focused. Let's get your money stacked up before you start bringing in any other expenses. Because that slows a woman down a little bit, because we have to, we got to take time off to have a baby, and that takes time. And now after you have the baby, you want to be home with them, and, and stuff like that. And so if you don't have a strong partnership like you and I have, then it takes a lot out of you to do it by yourself.
For sure.
And then the other thing is, I would tell them to make sure that they don't buy into the fact that they can't recruit partnerships just because they're single. Because a lot of single women recruit single women. They don't even try to recruit the partnerships because they think that they can't, and that's not true.
That's awesome. Her second question is, to balance the mom life and building a business life, what are some of the things I can do to give necessary attention to both without neglecting the other?
Well, I said earlier, there is no balance. But I think one of the things that you can do is to not expect to get an A in every category. If you don't expect to get because you can't get an A+ in your business category. You can't get an A+ in your mom category, an A+ in your wife category, an A+ in your church member category, A+ in your daughter or sister category, all at the same time.
Yeah.
That makes sense? So you may have to get a C in the sibling category and get an A in the business category, get a B in the, the grades are different in different time, in different, parts of the season and stuff like that. So I tell them all the time, don't expect to get A's all the time. Shoot for an A in your business, and that will help you put things in position so that you can get good grades in all of the other areas.
So Shandaya asks, do you and Antoine coach each other? And if so, how do you receive his coaching?
Do we coach each other? That's funny. I don't know what you would call it.
Hold on. CP, you can let yours up. Yeah.
I don't know if you would call it coaching or stuff like that, but we are hard on each other. So sometimes we'll go and speak somewhere and they'll be like, oh my God, you did so good. And one of us will tell the other one, you really bombed that one. Because we know what we can do. Yeah. And so we know our great, and we know where our greatness level is. And although you may go somewhere and your good level is high with them, we know it wasn't great. So I think we're the hardest on each other. And when we do things, we're playing for each other because we know each other's level. Yes. So if I'm speaking or if I'm training someone or something like that and somebody say, oh my God, coach, that was good, I got it, I understand exactly how you explained it, he may say, yeah, you took the long way to explain that. So we are the toughest on each other. We hold each other accountable to a way higher standard than I think most people do. Yeah, most definitely.
Her next question is, how do you get a new teammate to buy into the culture of your office right away?
The environment does it. They just kind of fall into suit. So if you have a new teammate that's coming to the office and people are dressing up, they'll start dressing up. So it just they just follow suit. The environment shows you what to do without you having to really say a lot about it. Yeah.
In your opinion, what's the most important characteristic every leader should have to become a six-figure RVP, and can it be taught?
What's the most important characteristic? I don't know if there's just one.
Yeah, there has to be several.
Yeah, for sure. To become a six-figure earner. Definitely resilience. They definitely have to have a good character because you think you get away with things because people don't catch you, but God sees it, and that I'm really big on you get what you give, Yes. So you can't grow a business putting out bad stuff, energy or anything like that. So I think I always say good character separates good RVPs from great RVPs.
That's very good.
Definitely boldness, because it takes boldness to start the business, but it takes boldness to stay in it and go after a higher level.
Right.
So I think those are, and work ethic. Work ethic is never in the absence. That's just the obvious. I shouldn't ever have to say that. Yeah. That you have to be able to work, and you have to be a visionary, somebody that knows what they're going for, that's way bigger than them, that bumps into $100,000 on the way there.
What's some resources that helped you get to the next level?
Books, for sure. All of my women read Successful Women Think Differently. All of my women read Rhinoceros Success, The Secret. These are all just mindset, the way you should think, the way you should react or not react books. If you can get a woman to control her emotions, you can get her to control her environment. If you can get her to control her environment, money and growth and success is inevitable. Yep.
What advice can you give to the young lady that's brand new to a leadership role?
What do you mean by that, brand new to a leadership role?
Like maybe she's just coming into having a team showing up and now she has to be the leader.
I would tell her to treat them how she would want to be treated. And so, if they're not doing what they're supposed to do what you would want somebody to do. You would want somebody to hold you accountable so you could get it right and make the necessary corrections. But that's what I do as a leader. Like, I treat my team like how I like to be treated. A lot of times I give them what I like. And then so I had to start asking them, like, do y'all like these bags? They're like, no, yeah, coach, we love these. I'm like, oh, okay, because I love bags, you know. So I treat them how I like to be treated, and they like to be treated that way.
And the last question, in your lowest moment, when you knew you were doing what you were supposed to do, what's the one thing that you would listen to help you get out of your feelings?
In my lowest moment, repeat that question.
In your lowest moment, when you knew you were doing what you were supposed to do, what's the one thing that you would listen to help you get out of your feelings?
Oh, you know what I listen to every day? I listen to praise and worship. That's just me, though. Like, Antoine and I are in the same house, and he has rap music blasting on the other side, and I have praise and worship blasting on my side while we're getting ready and getting dressed and stuff like that. I don't know why. That's just what gets me in the right type of spirit to do what I need to do, to make me feel like, you know what, I'm tripping. God can move a mountain. So surely he can get me a recruit. You know, this is nothing for him. And so that's just, praise and worship is what reminds me of the power of God. And so when I'm reminded of the power of God, then I'm reminded, like, double-digit recruiting is nothing for him. He could make it happen like this. So I just need to go do the work, and I just need to get in position so that when I pray to him, I could say, God, I did my part. You know.
Well, that's it.
All right.
That's all.
Metro Boomin want some more. Cause I got a really big team, and they need some really big rings. They need some really nice things.